Our next speaker, a person I hold in especially high regard, and that even more so when I found out it was 14 years, by the way, for April. 39 years in Toastmasters, a past district governor, District 100, and the co-chair of the Speakers Bureau for District 100 now, and a member of my favorite Toastmaster experience. That's debatable. So he's one that you can listen to and learn. Toastmaster, David Flores. Thanks for together.
Thank you, Tom. Dear fellow Toastmasters, my journey and why I joined Toastmasters. It's a little bit different from most people you've heard tonight. I started out my journey in Toastmasters because I needed to do something I wasn't familiar with or comfortable with. So I grew up and I was playing sports in school, and that was my whole goal in life, was just to play sports. I enjoyed it more than anything else. My friend's father, who was supported us the whole time through school, started his own brokerage firm as a real estate office. So I was working in manufacturing at the time, right out of high school. And to help him out, much like he helped us in sports, to start his business. So I decided to get my real estate license and join his company. Knowing nothing about sales, I decided, well, I'm going to have to learn quite quickly. So I invested hundreds of dollars in sales training seminars. I came away with those not too impressed and not very happy. See, to me, all I was learning was how to manipulate people's thoughts and minds, how to change their mind, because I wanted to get to a yes and change their no's. But I wasn't comfortable doing that because I felt like I was playing word games with them. I was trying to change what they were feeling inside, the uncomfortableness. And it made me feel uncomfortable to have to take control of them that way. So one day at the office, I was thumbing through the paper, and I see this little ad, Anaheim Toastmasters Club 2, learn to be a speaker and get over your fears. So let me go check this out. Now, mind you, when I mentioned I played sports in school, I was a student athlete. I was the opposite. I was an athlete, and the student part was just secondary. I didn't take my education seriously whatsoever. I was the opposite of what everybody else would do. If they had hard classes, they took those. I took the easy classes because all I needed was a C to play sports. See, all those other classes and those other programs, debate team, speech club, chess club, all those were for the highly educated and brainiacs, the smart kids. We referred to them as the nerds. Well, when I decided to go visit this club, club number 2, I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, now I'm really going to get payback. For all the times I made fun of the nerds, here comes the dumb jock. So I go into club 2, I sit down. Gentleman to my right introduces himself. Hello, my name's Dr. Code. Great, I got a doctor on one side. The other gentleman on my other side introduces himself. Hello, my name is Professor Atkinson. He's a physics professor at Long Beach State. 2 highly educated people and the dumb jock in the middle. My biggest fear was not the public speaking part. My biggest fear was sticking my foot in my mouth for having nothing smart to talk about. But what I realized is I had an advantage over them because they are there for the same reason, that they needed to develop their skills. Dr. Coe was told that you're terrible with your patients. You don't articulate well with them. You just are a terrible speaker to them. So he came to Toastmasters in desperation to help build his practice and maintain his clientele. Professor Atkinson, promoted to his department head, was now required to go out and raise funds for his department. He had to go talk to the general public. See, all those years as a professor, he thought he could speak well because he had students that were always shaking their head saying yes and taking notes. But he didn't realize he had what was a captive audience. They had to listen to what he had to say. But when it came out to the general public, people didn't have to listen to what he had to say, and some would just turn him off altogether. And he came to the realization that he didn't have the skill of communications. He hadn't developed the art of public speaking. So that's why he was there, to be able to learn how to be a better speaker. But what was different for them is that they grew up and they learned their education through erudition. You would read and study, where I would practice and play. And to me, this was just normal, natural for me. If I practice my speaking, I'll get better. No matter what happens, I'll just get better and better. And that's what I did. So I found myself excelling ahead of them because I was in my own environment again. As long as I kept practicing and practicing, I would get better and better. And that's what I found out is what this really meant, is this skill was the most important skill you could have. No matter what else you did, the ability to communicate and command other people's attention was the most important thing you could have to use to benefit not only yourself, but others. Why I stay is to benefit others. 40 years ago when I joined Toastmasters, now I continue my journey helping new Toastmasters. Number one, I know that if I give up the skill of practicing on a regular basis, just like an athlete, I'll regress. That's why I stay. Number two, to help those coming behind me, those younger generations that we talked about earlier, so they can understand the importance it really means to be able to command people's attention, what it really means to have the art of public speaking. And on top of that, what I found also in my work environment, that other people were afraid to speak. My fellow employees would complain about something, I would say, well, say something to somebody. They were afraid to do so. So I speak up on their behalf and get other people's attention to tell them what their plights were. So I want to take that same skill and continue on with that to help others if I can, whatever I can. My third reason now is I joined another organization. Besides Toastmasters, I was elected to the board of directors for Dale McIntosh Center, another nonprofit organization in Orange County. They work with the disabled and elderly community to help them live independent lifestyles. So now I get to use my skills to promote them and help that community that is underserved in our society. So the Toastmasters program is something that I think everybody should be a part of. The skill and art of communication is so important that there's no other skill that you can have that is more valuable than your ability to command people's attention. Mr. Toastmaster.